Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in and trying to figure out some more about your dog. There's one thing that I know that's just going on in the everyday normal thing today is there's just so much chaos going on with dogs. And there's one thing that I greatly appreciate where I'm going to say something that I know when and how and where to find all the nice looking dogs. On the coldest days, on the hottest days, on the rainiest days, on the snowiest days, you go out walking and you're gonna find the best of the best dogs. And that's one thing that I'm just gonna say right up front to make sure that you're doing with your dog to be able to have that nice dog that you're looking for is do stuff with them and always continue to keep on doing stuff with them and just focus on doing more than what you're already doing right now. And you're gonna see things start to change. When we do nothing, we're gonna be struggling. And that's one thing I wanna talk about today is the concept of these drive styles training that everyone is doing. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, hopefully I can explain some stuff right now to get you to just think something through real quick about what it is that we're actually doing and what it is that we're looking for our end result. Because a lot of dog training today is what I'm gonna say is considered getting the dog in a high drive to teach the dog how to do something, I'm gonna say basic, such as sit, such as down, such as even a recall, such anything. You're getting the dog to be in a high drive level. And that's why every trainer out here is saying, find that high thing to motivate your dog, that high value treat, that high value toy, that high value, whatever it is that your dog just goes crazy for, that's what you want to use to train your dog to do some things. And that's where for me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to get the dog to be in an exceptionally high, crazy, psychopathic looking way to teach the dog how to do something. Because that's not where that's not realistic, but that's where we're running into the situation that when we have the treats and we're doing these said training sessions for 30 minutes or 5 minutes for 10 minutes and we're just doing sit and sit and sit, the dog looks really good. But when we're not in that said training situation anymore, and a lot of people get stuck on like training environment, in reality, it's just that picture that the dog sees. Is we're doing this now and it does it really good. But then when you remove yourself from that well, we're doing this, it looks really good, now the dog doesn't do anything. Now the dog isn't making anything happen. And there's just one thing that is just very, very, I'm gonna say, confusing to the dog, is when you're training the dog to be in this crazy rampage mode, but then what do you want as a dog owner with how your dog is gonna behave? You want a calm dog. So we're training the dog to get excitable, but we're expecting the dog to be calm. This just doesn't line up for me in my brain. You know, I don't think that enough people have even heard that to be able to just really process that. That's why I want to say some things to get some people thinking. You're training your dog to get super jazzed up, to just be like, I won an award, to be able to calm them down. This just, it doesn't make sense. And the more and more I keep saying that, and the more and more I keep watching a lot of training videos out here that are getting the dogs to be in these crazy mind states, thinking that, oh, that's what I want. And not realizing what you're gonna end up getting in the end if that's what you continue to keep on doing. And that's why today, what's the people that are known as being the best of the best dog trainers, they're sport dog trainers. They want their dogs in this excessive high drive, crazy, me with my dogs, me with this dog. I want her to be like, let's go, because I need her to run 30 miles. I want my shepherd, he can't quite run that far, but he could do what he could do. And he can make it happen because I want him to be able to do that. I want my border collie back over here because I want him to be like crazy so that when we go chase some cows and do something, I want him to do that. But that's not what you're looking for as far as a pet dog. That's not what you want at all in reality. That's the opposite of what you want. But yet, if you sit and train and train and teach and train and train your dog to be crazy, why would you think that your dog is not going to be that? And there's just going to be a switch that just happens one day and the dog just finally calms down? That's not reality. That's not the way this works. That's why I'm going to say that most people are not finding any sort of success, because you're teaching your dog to get excited. So then when the dog sees another dog, you're teaching your dog to get excited. But yet you're like, why are you lunging? Why are you barking? Why are you doing all this? Because you're teaching the dog to be excited as opposed to teaching the dog all day, every day to be calm. That's one thing I think we as a people need to primarily focus majority of your time on. If that is what you want, if you want a calm dog, you want to train a calm dog. If you want an extremely high excitable sport, going crazy, doing some work type dog, then train that dog to be that. But do not want that dog that you think is going to be crazy and all wild to be a all around calm dog. That's why for me, some things, it can look pretty. It could be nice for a moment. Like I could teach her and train her to say, I want you to be pretty for a moment. But as far as the rest of your time, she's freaking running. She's just doing what she's doing, having fun, a blast. Same with my border collie. He's just running. He's just always on the move, just hustling, bustling, always going. But I can make him look good in the moment. That's why for me, I don't really like to put on stuff for a show, but I also want to be able to explain and show to someone that just I have to somehow put some sort of accreditation to myself that I know how to do at least one thing on this planet. I can get a dog to lay down. And I can get a dog to lay down in a way of not being in drive, of just laying down and just hanging out and just relaxing, because that's what everybody wants. And I'm convincing high energy, high active, high going dogs to be able to do that, just not only to prove to my own self, but to make sure, again, prove to myself, but show someone else that it can be done. If that's what you focus on. I focus on my downs to be calm, calm, calm. I do not train my dogs in this high, excitable, going crazy stance, because that's not what I want them to be. I want them to be calm. Even with my dogs that I go for a run, that go crazy, that do all the wild, we're calm. We're collective, we're doing it. Because if we go too wild, we're gonna get tired too fast. That's what happened to my Border Collie a lot when he was younger. He would get too tired too fast, and he wasn't able to perform. But the main thing I want to say is, with everything that you're doing with your dog, stop thinking of, I want to train it in a high excitable state. I want to train it calm. I want to be calm. And if that's the one thing that I'm going to say is probably the most challenging thing when you're bringing out, I don't know how else to say it, but competing motivators. You're bringing out something that is like, it's competing against you. The treat, pay attention to, but don't pay attention to you. The toy to pay attention to, but don't pay attention to me. The this to pay attention to, the pet and the praises, but don't pay attention to me. You're having conflicting interests going on here, because that item is going to naturally bring the dog's desire up even more. Especially if you bring out toys that engage the prey drive in the dog, like ball and string and certain balls with a lot of, I mean, both of these dogs love balls for some reason, and it brings their prey drive. It's going to naturally bring them up in a high excitable state. But yet you want a calm dog. So that's why I say to get rid of the toys and get rid of the treats and get rid of things, because you're teaching the dog to get in that high excitable state, regardless if you want to or not, because you're bringing out things that are going to force the dog into that state. So that's why I say get rid of it. And that's where I see we're struggling so much today, because they're training and teaching the dogs to be excited, but then we get mad when the dog is excited. That's where we have a conflict of interest. That's where we don't get respect from our dogs. Because the dog is like, whoa, you're telling me to get happy and to do this heel in this super excited mode. So when I do finally see another dog that I want to go and run and play and do what we're doing out here, that you want me to be that way, but then you're telling me no. You're telling me no. You're telling me yes and you're telling me no, and that's where you're butting heads. And when you start butting heads by telling no to the dog that you said yes to, the dog's not going to respect you, it's not going to trust you, it's not going to listen to you, because it doesn't know what to do. It has no idea where to go. So it starts to figure it out, and it starts to guess. And it starts to do some things that start to look absolutely crazy to us. And that's where we're struggling, because we're trying to tell the dog, don't be excited, but yet we're teaching the dog to be excited. How confusing is that? To a human being, to a child, to anything on this planet. So why would you think a dog would be able to handle that? And that's why for me, I just go towards the route of everything that I want to teach my dog to do, I'm going to teach it with just me and the leash, and that's all we got. That's all we're working with here, because that's what we have all the time. So when I'm excited, let's do something cool. We can be excited and do something. When I'm not so excited, want to do something, we're not so excited, we're not going to do nothing. We're just going to hang out, we're just going to relax. But you can't teach. I want to see this. I want to see this, because I know how to manipulate the dog. And manipulation, at the end of the day, is, I'm going to still use that word as evil, because that's what it is. I can manipulate a dog with the treat to make it appear to be calm. But once I give him that treat, it's no longer there. I can make a show. I can make it look good in the moment with that treat. But then once that treat is no longer around, that's when the realness starts to happen. That's when you start to see what's actually going on. That the dog was waiting for that treat pretty for a little while in that moment, but it's actually not truly doing that or being about that. It's being very, very pushy and saying, you better give it. And it knows how to manipulate us, and we're just using a line of manipulation towards each other. If we're both manipulating each other to get a treat, to get him to do something, we're both working backwards with each other. And the more that we're both manipulating each other, the more that we're not trusting each other. The more we don't trust each other, the more we don't respect each other. And when we don't respect each other, we just do whatever the heck we want to do. And then we as a human think, oh, I'm a human, so I tell you to this, and you better this, and you better that, and you better this. And that's just not the way it works when the dog doesn't trust you. And again, I think a lot of people are getting confused with how to have a dog that really, really likes you and is really good to you and listens to you. It's a dog that trusts you. It's a dog that respects you. If the dog doesn't trust and respect you, it doesn't listen to you. So if your dog doesn't listen to you, it doesn't trust you, it doesn't respect you. That's just period right there. That's just the end game of how to know if your dog trusts and respects you. When your dog is lunging at another dog and you say, hey, stop that, I don't want you to do that now, and it listens and it backs down, you may have to finagle this a little bit. You may have to like pull them a little bit to get them to just back off, but they shouldn't be so persistent to the point that they're just going, and not listening to a single thing that you have to say, and just continue to move forward and keep on making it happen. The dog should come back from you within a second or two, not 30 minutes, not 30 seconds, but a second or two. And if it doesn't, your dog doesn't trust you, your dog doesn't respect you. And that's what we want to build up with the dogs. And the way we build that up with the dogs is to stop the trickery. It's to do something that you want your dog to be in all the time. If you want your dog to be calm, then be calm. If you want your dog to be crazy and exciting and running and going wild, then be crazy, excited, and go wild. But don't be butthurt when your dog doesn't want to calm down. It's going to want to stay in one stance. It's going to want to do one thing. This is the thing that I think, this is why, if you watch me enough, I got a lot of dogs. And I got a lot of dogs because I got a lot of dogs who do certain different things because one can't do it all. I got my Border Collie. I was like, this dog is cool, but he's not to just chill and hang out. So he's here. I got a dog that I like to be able to go for walks, but he's not good at going for long runs. There's this dog. I got a dog because I don't want to stay up all night and be out here with my BB gun trying to be on edge with every raccoon and every skunk and everything. That's why I got this dog. I have every dog to do everything because one can't do it all. And I need more dogs, and really, I need 2 more Great Pyrenees to hang out with Pyrenees because he seems like he's overworked. He's doing too much. And I have multiple dogs because one can't make it happen. So when you want one that you're training to be all super hyped up and super excitable, just expect that that dog is primarily just going to be like that majority of the time. And stop thinking that you're just going to have a dog that's just going to be a couch potato one minute, and then a dog that is just crazy, going wild and doing what it's doing the next minute. And of course, there's going to be that one person that sits here and says, well, my dog, you know, I can train him and train him down to, that's that disagreeableness right here. You being real smart with me right now, Ophi. You can't go any lower, and you just refusing. I got you. Don't worry, girlfriend. There's going to be that one person that always has to say, well, my dog, you know, I can take him for a run, and he just lays out and hangs out all day. Fantastic. You've got that one dog. But the 99 other dogs out of that one dog are not that way. They're not that way. And that's where we're having confusion going on. Because that one person has one really nice dog and they think that they are now a dog trainer. And they got all the advice in all the worlds because they have that one agreeable dog that does everything that they're looking for, never gives them any pushbacks. So they're like, this is easy. I know how to do this. And then you're not really getting anyone any help because you're teaching and training how your one-off dog is able to do. And that's where majority of dog trainers here are today. I still just don't see dog trainers, dogs, anywhere. Y'all got all these videos showing all this stuff that you do, but you just don't have no dogs. Where's your dogs at? That's something that I think a lot of people really need to be able to just see and see how you interact with your dogs to get your dogs to do so that we can figure out, is this someone I want to pay attention to? Because that's how I want everyone to judge me and critique me. Dude, I don't like that, what you do with your dog. Cool. How would you want it? Because that's what I want you to do with your dog. Don't worry about how it is with mine. But if I could give you some basic tips and tricks on how to be able to get some sort of success with your dog, that's what I want you to pay attention to. So that's why I don't want people to really look at what I do, but hear what I say. Because what I say is, at the end of the day, what I end up doing. And I could show over and over and over with that simple concept. And it's not that I'm doing it because how easy, this is the thing that I'm going to say is easy. How easy is it for me to take someone else's dog and show you something really great, and then the dog, because the dog doesn't know me, and especially if I'm using pressure, I can make dog, that's what a TV show comes on. The dogs look really good. But then once I hand that dog back to you, that's when everything starts to change up. That's when, how are your methods really working? How are they really at the end of the day? And that's where there's the confusion going on. I could take your dog, and I could bring it here, and I could give it treat after treat after treat, make it look really good. But once I hand that dog back to you, that's where just the craziness starts to still continue to happen, that it's like we did nothing. I've done this many times now, hundreds of times at this point, that I'm literally walking side by side with somebody and I've got the leash and the dog is perfectly walking there. It's just, I'm hanging out. I don't care to do nothing. I hand the leash right there. The dog looks up, looks at them, and starts pulling and going crazy again instantly. It's a matter of the trust and respect. And the dog, I've gotten the trust and respect because I'm very clear to the dogs. And that's where you, with your dog, if you're not clear to the dog because you're doing conflicting, confusing, manipulating things to the dog. And the dog just doesn't know what the heck is going on here. And that's something that I want more and more people to think about, that concept. If you want your dog to be calm, Why are you training the dog to be in an excitable state? If you want your dog to be able to relax, why not train the dog to be relaxed? Why not train the dog to be calm? Why not put all your time, all your energy into what you want your dog to look like, as opposed to what you think your dog should be based on what someone else has to say? Because I run into this over and over and over again with the majority of I've only spoken to one person out of hundreds of people now that I've been working with. One person that's just like, they want that sports side. And I'm like, you got called in, I got the wrong call. I can recommend you to other people that know that sports stuff, but I'm just not that. I'm about getting dogs to calm down. I'm about getting dogs to relax. So I spend majority of all of my time on that. And I never ever look at a dog on, I need to give it something to motivate it to be able to get it jazzed up to make it do something. That's one thing I'm going to say. If the dog doesn't want to do for you, you got to get re-understanding of what the heck is going on here to what you're actually looking for and what your expectations are all about. If your dog doesn't want to just do for you, then what you're looking for is something that, for one, more than likely, you don't want, and two, your dog don't want to do. And that's where we got to do the manipulation to force the dogs to do some stuff that we really don't want. So the one thing that I'm going to say is we all are forcing our dogs to do, I don't care what side of everything you do, is stay with me. And that's why I can put this leash on this dog. I don't really need the leash too much. And have all these chicks around knowing that I don't need to do nothing because she knows that basic fundamental idea. Don't take off. Don't run. You can't leave me. You have to stay with me. That's why things week by week are just going to keep on getting better and better and better because she knows to stay with me. So I'm forcing her to stay with me. And that's the main thing that I'm going to say is, that everyone is looking for is the dog to stay with you. Why my dog doesn't come back to me? Because it doesn't even know how to stay with you. Like, start with that first. Why is my dog always running away from me? Because you're using toys to engage the prey drive in the dog so that when you're playing with it, it thinks like, oh, there's a chicken, let's go chase that as well. It's confusing to the dog. It's one or the other. Don't try to have no dual purpose stuff going on here. You're gonna mess up. You're just going to mess up. And if you do not put hours and hours and hours and hours into your dog of training every single day, all day, to be able to get your dog to understand this, just don't do it. You're gonna mess up. Because I can say, can it be done? Yeah, I can tell these dogs to not chase chickens when I don't want them, and I can tell them to engage and to do it. But I've been doing this for years. This dude's about to be 6 years old. He's been doing that since he was 10, 12 weeks old. And I've been working on that every single day, hours a day working on this stuff. Can it be done? Yes. But as far as real world, every day, everyone type work, don't even think about it. You're only going to stumble and fumble. And it's just no reason to even worry about it because there's no reason for you to even desire it at the end of the day. You want your dog to be calm. So teach and train your dog to be calm. Stop with the foolishness of trying to get your dog excited, because once you get that dog excited and you're just like, oh, let's go do this, the dog just stays in that stance. I don't know why, but it's just what dogs are. They have limitations. And I could put the same thing on us as humans at the end of the day in reality. Once we default to sitting on the couch and watching TV all day, it's really hard to get you to switch to like, let's go and do a 5-mile run right now. It's so hard to do that. And it's the same way. Someone that does 5-mile runs every day, it's so hard to get them to just like, it's hard for me to sit on the couch and just like sit there. It's so hard. I'm like, I gotta get up. I gotta do something. I go to people's houses and they're always looking at me like, do you want to sit? I'm like, no, I'm just staying here. I'm just so used to that. It's just what I do. But it's hard to switch from what we do. So if us as humans, it's hard. It's almost, I'm going to say, dang near half impossible to do that to a dog. And it takes serious dedication. And that's what majority of people don't have. And that's what and I'm going to straight up say, like most dog trainers are putting a display online for everyone to see. What is unrealistic, it's not real. What is real is you want your dog to relax and be able to be calm. But what everyone is showing you is dogs going off to biting the sleeves and dogs going off and doing all this tricks and all this stuff. And it's just like, do we want that all day? Does that make a dog be a nice dog, being able to do all these tricks and all this stuff? Or does what make a nice dog be a nice calm dog? A calm dog that I don't have to worry so much about anything. I could just sit back, relax, and just hang out. I know that there's crazy stuff all around and I could just sit down, relax, and just hang out. I don't need to focus on that. And that's the parts that I think that where we're failing, because we're trying to get the dogs excited, but yet we're trying to get them calm. So you're training exciting and expecting calm in the end, in your end result. I don't know why. I don't know why. That's just, to me, in my brain, it just doesn't make sense. I just go into what you call like a brain fart, man. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to train excited to get calm. I'm gonna train and activate the prey drive out of the dog and try to convince the dog not to chase prey items when it actually sees, like I said, a real one in real world. It doesn't make sense to me. You're gonna have the ball in your hand and playing with the dog and get it activated and get it to do the sit and get it to this is the part where I think we're failing the most over the sitting down. Trying to convince them to loose leash walk with giving them treats and with giving them a ball, with doing stuff like this. Especially the toys. You're giving them that toy to activate that drive in that dog. So then that dog sees a squirrel in real life. It sees another dog to play with in real life. It sees another human being it wants to play with in real life. So that dog, since you've been playing with it and doing all this, that dog has it in it like, oh, I'm gonna go to that as well. That's why it looks crazy, because when your dog is chewing on that ball, your dog is chewing on that tug, your dog is going all out, man. They're biting, they're chewing, they're going. So you're convincing the prey drive out of the dog to just stay there and just to activate more and more and more. So every single walk, you're just activating more and more and more. That's why every walk you're going on, more than likely, in most cases, not all cases, of course, there's that one person that's I play with tug with my dog and I give him a brake session every 20 steps and we're I'm sorry, there's a hawk. Is that a hawk? And we're good to go. You know, everything is great. But even if it's every 20 seconds, I'm saying that doesn't sound good to go to me. That sounds like excessive amount of management that I want to be able to go for a 4-hour walk, a 4-hour hangout session. I don't need nothing. But there's going to be that one person that did get that by giving them treats and giving them toys. But the 99% everyone else, it's not working. You're actually seeing that things are starting to get more complicated. And that's where the trainer comes and says, well, you need something more high value now to make you look more valuable. So that if you have that more valuable toy, that more valuable treat, it's going to be more than what that other thing is out there. And there's just no treat that's more powerful than another dog. There's no treat, there's no toy that's more powerful than the real toy, the real treat that's out there for them to be able to get. It's just, you're in a lose-lose situation. That's why you don't want to start that way. You want to start the way of calm. You want to start the way of you're not able to chase no more. We're done with that chase. We're exiting the prey drive activity out of this dog to go for walks, because everything out here is prey drive for the dog to want to activate to get into. So if the dog thinks it's cool to activate that prey drive with you and here, then it's cool there. It's cool here, there, everywhere. It's cool everywhere. So your dog just thinks that it's okay in any scenario, in any situation. And what are dogs? Very, very disagreeable, pushy. They're very pushy dogs. So they're going to take advantage of, I see this that you told me that we do together, we're together, so I can go ahead and go and chase that other dog and go play with it. And that's why the dog is at the end of the leash barking, screaming, going crazy. As opposed to teaching the dog to be calm. Calm. Relax. Calm. Just chill. Calm. Hang out. Calm. Let's just sit down and do nothing. Let's just stand here and do nothing. Let's just be in existence in this world and be around and be and do nothing. And that's the part that I think that we're getting conflicting interests go on here. Where the majority of the dog training stuff is to give them toys, give them praise, give them treats, give them all this stuff. But yet, majority of people's dogs out here are messed up. So if we're using the majority with the majority is saying to do it this way, and the majority of dogs are messed up. I don't know, man. It just don't make no sense to me. It just kind of gets in me to just think like maybe something's not working here. Maybe things aren't lining up. Maybe we're trying to do like, what do you say? 2 + 2 is like 3. No, it's 4. So maybe we need to get back to being 2 and 2 is 4, as opposed to seeing that what we're doing is not adding up to be complete. We're doing things that are that's the perfect way of saying it. 2 + 2 is 3. That's what dog training is right now, people. You're putting 2 and 2 together, and you're not quite getting the whole picture. You're getting some of the picture. And most of y'all are getting half the picture. And some of y'all are not even getting nowhere close to the picture. So that's where we're struggling right now. We're struggling like crazy. And that's where, for me, I just want everyone to think about the simple concept of I want to get my dog to do something, so I add something of higher value in to get them to do it. As opposed to just, let's just do it. Why don't we just do it? What happened to just hanging out and just doing it? As opposed to thinking that there needs to be something added extra. And we got this where I'm going to say is the most absolute confused people on the planet right now that think that for a dog to lay down, to think that for a dog to go for a walk with you, that the dog should be getting paid. That is the most backwards information I'm going to say. That is what's destroying majority of dog training right now. The dogs do not need to be paid to go for a walk, to go to the bathroom. Do you get paid to go to the bathroom? If you do it on company time, I guess technically you do. But if you don't work for no company on no company time, you do not get paid to go to the bathroom. Do you get paid to do everything that you need to do? You get paid to even eat? You get paid to, no, there's a lot of our lives that we do not get paid to do. And in reality, pretty much all of our life, we don't get paid to do what we do. That's why at the end of the day, I'm going to say that I think that the main reason on why most homeless people's dogs look really good, because they are happy and content with where they are. They are not, I need more, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need to go. They're just happy and satisfied with where they are. It's not even as much as just hanging out with the dog. It's a matter of they are just satisfied. They are just, they are good to go. And they know that just hanging out in the world is good enough. And that's why the dog is really nice, because they're not paying the dog. This is some tricky stuff right here. There's a chick right in her face. I see you, girl. I see you. They're not thinking that the dog needs to get paid because it's laying down in the street right next to them. They're not thinking that any of that. The dog is just doing it. The dog is making happen what the dog needs to make happen. I'm not going to give my dog a paycheck for going for a walk with me and taking it to the lake, to take it to the park, to just walk around the neighborhood. That is where there's confusing language going on out there. Stop paying your dog to be unruly. That's what's going on in reality right now. And that's what's happening the most. The dogs are getting very, very pushy, very, very just, man, I can't get off that word of evil, because that's what they're acting like. They're doing whatever the heck they want to do, and they have no care for you. They got no trust in you. They got no respect for you. And that's where the things are getting confusing with a lot of the lingo that's going on in the dog training stuff. Stop worrying about, I need to pay my dog to take it for a walk around the block. What? That just don't make no sense. I need to pay my dog to sit here and lay in the house with me. What? We're hanging out. We're doing what we're doing. Now, if you want your dog to climb Mount Everest or do something crazy, maybe not even that, shoot, I still wouldn't pay my dog for it. We go eat meals along the way. But if you want your dog to be in some sport, to do something elaborate that is foreign to the dog, such as if I'm trying to get this dog to load up, not even if she was cart pulling, because that's what she's supposed to do. But if I got her into some frisbee play or frisbee work, if I got my border collie to do some frisbee work or something, I'm going to pay him to do that, because it's not natural for him to do. But what is natural? Going for a walk. What is natural? Laying down and hanging out. What is natural? Just napping and hanging around. That's natural. We're not getting paid for that. And I think that a lot of this terminology is where we're stumbling and fumbling, because we're getting the dogs to get in the extreme hideable stance, extreme high prey drive, high drive, extreme high drive. Then we're expecting that high drive dog to just slow down and calm down. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And I had to say that again, just to say it again, so that if you didn't get it the first 5 times, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You teach calm to get calm. You stay calm to continue calm. And you yourself don't even need to really be calm. As I'm standing here talking, hyped up, and these dogs can all just still lay here and just chill, because they know that we're just hanging out. We're just relaxed. We're doing what we're doing. Even if I'm not calm, that's the language that's going on back and forth, because I'm not giving them extra to make them confused with what's going on right now. I'm just telling them, this is what I'm expecting, this is what I want, and this is just what we're doing. And we're good, we're done, we're finished, everything is good. There's nothing crazy going on here. So you can still be hyped up, you can still be all wild, and your dogs can still be calm. But when I'm hyped up like this and I give my dog a treat right now, if I gave this girl a treat right now, if I allowed her to chase one of these chickens right now, it would destroy everything that we've been doing. It would just make everything go backwards, go upside down, just be an extreme hot mess, and we'd be starting day one again, and everything that I've been doing for weeks and weeks would be for absolutely nothing. Because it would be very, very confusing for me to say, oh, you're laying there really good. Now you could get up and go chase something. Now I can activate that prey drive to get you to go and make something happen. That would just make everything disappear. But since I'm sitting here saying nothing calm, nothing calm, nothing calm, I know the chicken is in your face, and you just gonna sit there and stare at it and nothing calm. Just be calm and stay calm. And I'm putting that expectation on her to just stay here, just make that happen. And she's just gonna get better and better and better at that every day. Now, if I made her stay here, this is where it's gonna get confusing. If I had her stay here and I gave her a release of, yeah, go chase the chicken now, so that you can get your paid session. You know, you got paid. You laid there for 5 minutes, or shoot, I don't even know. She's been there for 20-something minutes at this moment. So I should pay her, right? So I gotta let her, I can bring out a toy and play with her. That's gonna convince her to, this chick right here, that she has it in her to be able to chase it anytime, any moment, we're together, because she knows she's gonna get that break session. She's gonna be antsy waiting for it. Antsy waiting for it. Just, I'm gonna get, and you got no control over the dog. The dog is just absolute wild, just going absolute insane. And that's confusing to the dog. And it's confusing to us as humans, and it's so confusing to a dog. Just make everything simple and tell your dog everything that you want and stay in that calm stance. Stop trying to get the dog excited to do something. Get that dog calm to do something. Go out the front door, calm the dog before you go out the front door. You go take a couple steps down the driveway, calm the dog before you take steps down the driveway. You trying to get the dog into the car, calm the dog before you get into the car. You get him out of the car, calm the dog before you get the dog out of the car. Don't try to give me treats and do all this. I'm going to go crazy right now because this is where I think that majority of people are struggling with crate training. My main thing is put food in there, feed them their food in there. But when you're playing the games of throwing the treat, get them out, throwing the treat, get them out, good boy, get him out, get him out, get him out, good job, good job. You're creating that dog to be excited to go into the crate. That sounds great, right? I want my dog to be happy to go in there. No, you want your dog to be calm while he's in there. That's why when they're eating their dinner, they're calm. They're eating their food and they're just eating their food. But when you start playing the game of throwing the treat in and out, you start to get the dog excited. And you're wondering why your dog doesn't relax in the crate. Because you're playing this games to get the dog excited, and the dog is in there in an excited stance like, ooh, when are we going to do it again? When are we going to do it again? When are we going to do it again? As opposed to just being calm in there. The same with the down, same with every command that you can put on the dogs to do anything that you need on your day-to-day. You're teaching them to be excited as opposed to being calm. Just think about that. Think hard about that is all I want to say. Thank you. I know. You're going to go try to chase that chicken. You ain't got nothing. Never, ever, ever, ever will you ever chase a chicken. You'll never chase no squirrels. You'll never chase no deer. You'll never chase another dog. You'll never chase nothing. That's just what it is. And she can never do it. She's never going to want to do it. And it starts today. So hopefully by the time this dog is, she was 9 months now. So hopefully by the time she's about 2 years old, every single day of doing this, she's no longer going to ever have a desire in her to chase anything. She'll just be hanging out. Just, this is the world. And I can't teach her, get excited, to calm her down. That would be so confusing right now. So confusing. So confusing. Ophi, you're a nice dog already.